welcome back to Perfect Imperfections. This is your host Dennis, and today's guest is no other than my brother Martin the Psalmist. This is our first episode, and I wanted to base this conversation with our personal experiences, and our main topic for today will be our childhood experiences while growing up and how it affects our lives later on in life. It depends in terms of perfections and imperfections in our day-to-day lives as growing up. So I will start with myself. We both grew up in the same environment, more or less, because we are siblings of 5. I'm the last born. He's older than me, so our experiences are more or less different than what anyone would expect when they see us. Like when we say we are brothers, and they assume that we grew up in the same environment. My childhood experiences, I don't know about Martin, mine was very tough. And growing up was not an easy journey, because we were raised up by a single mom. Things didn't go well, but look at us, we're still okay. And I tend to think my environment was totally different than what Martin experienced, and that's what we want to talk about today, and in regards to how it affects someone's life later on in the future. Because I believe most of the things that we experience when we are growing up is embedded into our mind subconsciously, and they come to manifest themselves in the near future when you're grown-ups, and subconsciously you don't know you're doing something that the impact of it started way long before. And we want to discuss it. We want to share our experiences with you viewers, and maybe someone out there will learn something, pick something, and try and view life in a different perspective. So what do you think, Martin?
Very true.
So it was tough, and one of the things that I learned from a young age was to take care of myself, because my mom was not there all the time. She was busy trying to make ends meet, and trying to educate 5 boys, trying to balance life and all that. I'll not get into the details of my parents, but I will get into the and it was not easy. I remember the time that I even dropped out of school. It's not because that I was not mom was not in a position to take me to school, but the pressures of life then. And funny thing is, how I got back to school is what will shock you, but that we'll talk in another episode in regards to that. I don't know about Martin. Maybe you can give them a brief explanation of how your childhood experience was. Then we drill down and we see how it goes from there.
Everybody, as you heard, my name is Martin the Psalmist, a singer-songwriter, producer, and many other things. That's how we turned up. So that's a good explanation to tell you where you were born does not determine where you die, or does not determine what you achieve in life. So as he mentioned, we were born in an interesting family setting. My folks split when we were very young, so of course my mom had to take the responsibility of raising us. We are 5 siblings. I'm the 4th born, he's the 5th. There are 3 more boys in front of us. So you can imagine with one I don't know, they call it breadwinner or bread or whatever,
Sole
whichever
provider.
sole provider, yes,
Yeah.
whichever fits the bill.
Yeah.
So it was very tough on her, and the beginning, when we were still, trying to get our footing and everything, but we all made it to, through primary school. We all made it to high school. Of course, it has a lot of challenges. Half the time we were chased from school because of lack of school fees and this and the other. But all these different experiences brought out the personality, the individual personalities of who we are. Because I'm the only musician in the family. He's the only IT or person in tech in the family, and the others are also in different occupations and professions. So part of the requirement of family is look for a vocation or work that seems popular or seems to be, those things that seems like everybody is doing or is marketable. And I remember the time the brother who I follow, there was an opportunity from one of my uncles who was in the force to join the police force, and I knew for sure I'm not called to be a police officer.
Yeah.
I knew for sure if I go to the police, I'll just probably quit by the second week. So when the opportunity came for both of us, he took the position because he seemed like, he fits the bill. He's more calm, collected, serious, very serious. Yeah, so he made it to the police. So me, I just turned it down because I knew, I would not be fulfilled.
And I remember during that time it brought a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Because their expectations from us was high, and someone wants you to live their life and
To take what you are offered.
yeah, and I think that's the problem with childhood experiences. We are being raised to fill a void that our parents didn't feel, or
Right.
they missed out.
Mm.
I want you to be a doctor because I don't want to be a doctor. Then you're pressured along your life to to do that and all that. And actually I was among those people who was like, marrying, that's not the right choice, whatever. But later on, you come to realize that was his choice in regards to that. And I know, things turned out okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure it out. If I know in the first how it would turn out for you.
Don't even imagine because we have worked. There, I don't know any police with locks.
So
yeah.
when it comes to how our childhood or your childhood when coming up, you find that there are certain what do you say things that you are required to do. Expectations. Not your expectations, but our parents' expectations. Some are understandable and allowable, but how do those expectations come to affect us later on in life when we are all grown up? And how does it affect us psychologically and emotionally? And like when I was growing up, I was like the black sheep. I was the black sheep in the family. So, and something like that. And I learned to survive being alone, and I experienced the harsh realities of society while I was at a young age. The seclusion, the rejection, and all that. I was very young, and it affected me a lot. To a point that I became a loner, and I embraced who I am at a young age. I don't know if Martin noticed that, but so I learned to survive while I was very young, and I think that has helped me a lot currently as who I am. But I know in many situations and scenarios to other people, it's totally the opposite. You get, or maybe you haven't discovered a way of dealing with that. And the reason we want to share with you these experiences is because maybe we are outspoken, or we found a voice to reach out to someone out there, but there are some people who they haven't realized that maybe their childhood experiences and growing up, the demands and the expectations that was bestowed upon them is affecting their current life right now, and they need to make a choice. And it's really not an easy task. Like, for example, we were brought up in a very sound Christian environment, but as we speak right now, I'm a Muslim. He's still a Christian. Yeah, I don't know, still baffles them and
personal choices.
Yeah, personal choices. And once you reach that level of making personal choices without owing anyone an explanation, I think that's when you reach a point of a turning point. And you start from there. But I think your childhood experiences are embedded in your subconscious mind, and it manifests itself later on when similar scenarios that mirror what you experienced when you were young pop out, like me in your current future. I don't want to do this because it doesn't seem right, because I was told this and this. Why don't you try and maybe try it and you see what the outcome will be? And it's not an easy journey. It's not easy. You accept who you are. Like I usually say, like, we're all sinners. We just sin differently. So that means we're all imperfect. And we become perfect every time we work on our imperfections toward perfecting it. And that's not the end. You'll find that once you've perfected this thing about your life, another imperfection comes. I don't know about you, Martin.
Yeah, so somebody said a habit is something you have done over and over again until it becomes a routine. That's a habit. And when you do a routine over and over again, it becomes part of who you are. So basically, sometimes embracing who you are reveals it's like a cabbage. It unfolds layers and layers of the true self you carry inside. Because I can imagine, I can remember back then, accounting seemed to be what was profitable. So me and my system and math are like this. I am not, So I remember that time my mother was like, do something in accounts, do something in accounts. I'm already struggling in equations. So I'm imagining, how will I do accounts? So I just got to a place where I decided, you know what, I want to pursue. I'm a creative. I'm somebody that is good with putting thoughts into and ideas, into penning it down into something substantial. Like I said, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I'm a creative, I'm an online, I produce content online and stuff like that. So putting that person in a box of accounting, you have in fact killed their future, you've killed their destiny. You just, you understand. So that's why when I was asked about the opportunity to join the forces, I told them, to be honest, it's not even me, it can't work. When I was told to join accounting, I just, it gets to a point you have to put your foot down and not care what people think about whether you're passing an opportunity for or not. The question is that opportunity for you? So you understand. So when you embrace who you really are and invest in yourself, is when you start unveiling the true nature and the true potential of who you are. So
I remember when we were growing up, when the separation happened between my mom and dad, I know for a fact that it affected everyone differently, correct? So some became rebellious. I was a rebellious type. I don't know about you. Some withdrew, some became temperament. Others were just like, this is cool. But down deep inside, it affected everyone differently. But I remember there's a time that that transition itself has a very significant effects on the entire family unit, and I remember I'm just telling you about our imperfect situation that came to be a perfect. So I remember it reached a point that mom couldn't get bus fare. So, and I remember one day I found her crying, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, mom?" And like, "I can't get bus fare." I told her, "Don't worry, it's like the school is this far. Okay." I've seen other kids going to school on foot, and so I started going to school on foot. Actually, wake up very early in the morning, start jogging, going to school, just like how they do it in Iten and all. But little did I know that action itself had an adverse change in my life, because it made me athletic, and I came to realize that you come, like I said, everything is embedded subconsciously. You just later on in life is then you realize, by the way, this thing,
this added
to this, and it contributed a lot. Even when I was growing up in high school, I managed to get into the school main team faster and all that. I remember when I joined Form 1, guys was like, "Oh, dude, look at those quads. This kid has bigger quads than." I was like, I'm used to it, and those are the things you want to talk about.